Good morning, everyone. I'm Cecilia Burke, one of the former tax assessor collectors that's running around here, and want to welcome everybody. First, I want to share with you a little bit of sad news. Joy Bowling, who was a long-time employee at the tax office, last time I saw her was at Nelda's funeral, and we got word that she passed away last week. And so we want to keep her and her family in our prayers. So first off, I want to say the county's media services are here, and they're going to be filming our presentation today, and it will go into the county's historical archives as well as the Austin History Center's archives. And after this ceremony, they're going to be around, and they would like to interview anybody who wants to share a Nelda story, and that'll be a part of the film. First off, I'd like to introduce Nelda's family. Her daughter, Amy Spears Tony, right here, and her husband, Mikey.
Speak a little louder.
Okay, thank you. And her husband, Mikey. Her son, where's Trent? Trent Spears, and his wife, Lacey Spears. And all the grandchildren are here. Trent Jr., Malik, Lauren, Lucy, Teddy, Madden, and Aiden. So thank you all for being here. And Debbie Kaplan, who is one of the grandmothers. Thank you, Debbie. So we have a lot of elected officials here today, and I want to introduce everybody. Let me know if I've missed somebody. First, Bill Alshire, former Travis County Tax Assessor-Collector and former county judge. Mr. Sam Bisco, former County Commissioner, Precinct 1, and former county judge. Tina Morton, former Travis County Tax Assessor-Collector. Bruce Elfont, who is the former Constable, Precinct 5, and is the current Travis County Tax Assessor-Collector. Bruce Todd, former County Commissioner, Precinct 2, and the Mayor of Austin. Stacy Suits, Constable, Precinct 3. It's right here. I know. George Morales, Constable, Precinct 4. Judge Carlos Barrera, County Court at Law Number 8. Welcome again, Carlos. Welcome again. District Judge Darlene Byrne. Judge Tamara Needles. Former County Commissioner, Precinct 2, Karen Sunliner. Miss Erin Gurek, who is the District Director for Congressman Lloyd Doggett, who could not be here with us. Thank you, Erin. Miss Diana Limon Mercado, the Chair of the Travis County Democratic Party. Velva Price, who is the Travis County District Clerk. Judge Nancy Hohengarten, County Court at Law. Adon Ballesteros, who is the Constable for Precinct 2. Dana Dave Beauvoir, the County Clerk. Carlos Lopez, the Constable for Precinct 5. Danny Thomas, Constable, Precinct 1. And Margaret Gomez, County Commissioner, Precinct 4. Is there anybody that I've missed? Oh my gosh. The Honorable Wilhelmina Delco is here with us. Yay. Thank you, Ms. Delco, for coming. So I want to give special thanks to the committee who put this event together. Number one is Roger L. Curry, who is the Director of Facilities Management for the county. We couldn't have done it without him. Thank you, Roger. Also, Tiffany Seward, who's the Communications Director for the Travis County Tax Office. She is fabulous. Thanks, Tiff. Al Jackson, the Director of Media Services. I don't know if Al's here. Dale Cornerby, he's back there on the camera, and he'll be interviewing you afterwards. Tina Morton, Lacey Spears, who is Nelda's daughter-in-law, Karen Sunliner, and myself. Judge Sarah Eckhart could not join us today, and so she asked me to say a few words about Nelda on her half. Excuse me. County residents wrote checks payable to Nelda Wells Spears for their vehicle registration and property tax payments for 20 years. Nelda's is a name to remember, an honorable, trailblazing public servant who we love, respect, and miss every day. Nelda's Travis County family is so proud to be a part in preserving her legacy by naming the main tax office building at 5501 Airport Boulevard the Nelda Wells Spears Building. The Nelda Wells Spears Building name will follow should the main tax office be located in any other part of Travis County in the future. Thanks to Judge Eckhart. Nelda understood that we don't need to be downtown, and she articulated that into action and results by polling her customers, advocating for the co-location of county services, and persuading the Commissioner's Court. Her foresight and vision led the Commissioner's Court to begin acquiring property on Airport Boulevard and start redeveloping it. Only now is this part of town, in some measure because of our having located here, really coming into its own. When I visit or when I drive past the Nelda Wells Spears Building, I too will always take a moment with deep appreciation and admiration for Nelda's leadership, her compassion, and her humanity. Thank you so much for including me today. I look forward to being with you at the premiere of Tax, Title, and License, The Nelda Wells Story. This is a documentary that her son Trent is putting together. And so we'll let everybody know when the showing is, right, Trent? Yep, okay. I'm sorry, this wind. Okay, now to our program. Our first speaker is Pastor Kevin White of Greater Mount Zion Baptist Church. Pastor White.
I'd like to thank this committee for putting this on together. Just cannot think of a greater person to celebrate by naming this building Nelda Wells Spears Building. I was thinking about what to say before I pray, and I was just thinking about what God does in the Bible. God usually renames things to reflect the person's character and the directions that he's going to take them. And I think that was something that we can pray about today as we rename the tax building here, the Nelda Wells Spears Building, that it would take on her character that she demonstrated. Fantastic leader, excellent visionary, commitment to faithfulness, commitment to excellence. And so I want to just pray that would take place from now on through the people that come here and work here, that serve the community, that they will have the character of the Nelda Wells Spears. And so let's go ahead and bow our heads and close our eyes and pray. And so, Father, we thank you so much for the life of Sister Nelda and the impact that she has had, not only in this community, but the people that she worked with in such a way. She served in such a great way that they are willing to rename this building after her. And so, God, I pray that it would take on the character that she demonstrated while she was here, and that people would be excellent leaders and people will have a servant heart. That people that serve here, God, would also be visionaries. And that people that serve here, God, would also be committed to excellence. And so, God, we just thank you for this opportunity to just take some time out to just celebrate her. And as we celebrate her, we're actually celebrating you because you created her. You allowed us to experience her life. You allowed us to experience the love, her dedication, her laughter, her friendship. And so, God, we just pray that we will carry that on, and that this building, that the people that come and serve in this building will carry that on. And so we ask that you bless this occasion, and that you bless the people here, and that you bless this building. It's in Jesus' name we pray. You greet the prayer, say amen. Amen. Thank you so much.
So our next speaker is going to actually dedicate the building today. And so I would like to ask Sam Bisco to come up, please.
Good morning. I have been asked to speak for about 5 minutes. Like most politicians, I will take either 4 or 6. It's hard to land on exactly 5. But some of you may be wondering why I'm back on county property since I retired 4.5 years ago. I have 3 responses. The first is Precinct 1 Commissioner Jeffrey Trevelyan was supposed to speak, but he had to go out of town on county business. So he asked me to speak for him. I hesitated at first. He then told me that I was the best county judge he had ever known. So as any real politician would do, I quickly accepted. Now, I have been retired 4.5 years. I have received all of my retirement checks on time and in full. So I have no reason to protest the county. The other thing is that when you're retired, you really don't get those speech requests that you got when you were active. I used to get 2 or 3 a week. Now I get maybe 1 or 2 a year. So every time I pass one up, I may well be postponing a speak opportunity for at least another year. Now, when I looked at Nelda's background, it amazed me that she and I share pretty much the same educational challenges and accomplishments and professional career accomplishments. We both went to segregated high schools. I'm from Tyler, by the way. We both left home to go to college. We both finished college. We both went to graduate school and obtained graduate degrees. We both returned to Austin, and at first we both worked for state government. I worked at the Texas Department of Agriculture in the Stephen F. Austin building, and Nelda worked for the comptroller and the general land office, and at the general land office she was in the same building where I was. And I knew her, and we had a whole lot of mutual friends. We used to go to Reverend, we called it religious hour, some called it happy hour. But on Friday we would go down to phases and discuss community development, equal employment opportunity, a lot of the other key issues that are so important today as they were back then. As I recall, Greater Mount Zion was closed on Friday evening in those days, which is why we went to phases. Now, I joined county government on January 1 of 1989. Nelda joined the tax assessor in 1991. She retired in 2011. I retired 2014. I mention that because she and I worked together at the county during the same 20-year period when she was there. I had an opportunity to work with her on a regular basis, and I always found her to be soft-spoken, intelligent, savvy, hardworking, determined. She was incredibly easy to work with and to get along with. She was accommodating but persistent. She was mature yet flexible. She was goal-oriented, yes, compassionate. She was disciplined yet forgiving. On June 19, 2018, and a proclamation approved unanimously by the Travis County Commissioners Court, Nelda was praised for excellent customer service, for greater employee training. Her leadership roles in several local groups was praised also, including the Austin Women's Center, the Austin NAACP, the Texas County and District Retirement System, Austin Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta, and I hasten to add that I was a charter member of the Omega Psi Phi fraternity at North Texas State, so that parallel again. Nelda dedicated her life to making the tax assessor's office more effective and more efficient. Let me just give you one caveat now, because I think this is important. Everything I've said about Nelda so far has been true for 364 days a year. Every January 31st, as I headed to the tax office to pay my real property tax bill, I would be a little frustrated and angry with the person in charge. Now that only lasted one day. And the day after I paid my taxes, things would return to normal. And Nelda's standing in my book would return to normal also. County staff, please get ready to unveil the name. It is overhead. I'm looking straight up and probably will have to sue the county with this neck issue I'm developing. Let's make this seem real official by applauding once we can see the sign. Our friend, colleague, outstanding public servant. 1, 2, 3, go! I think that was closer to 6 minutes than 4, right? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge Biscoe. Our next speaker needs no introduction. Bill Alshire, the former county tax assessor-collector and former county judge.
Thank you. Over the last couple of years, this community has learned some lessons about being careful who you name buildings for, like our schools. But I can tell you with absolute assurance that not only today are you proud of this name on this building, but centuries from now, you'll still be proud of that fine public servant, Nelda Wells Spears. I met Nelda during the tumultuous Bob Bullock state controller days, and many of us have that in common. My God, she was the HR director. That's a tough job. But she earned respect there, and as she was appointed by the Commissioner's Court when I was on the Commissioner's Court to start her career as county tax collector, I had confidence in her because I knew the work and I knew the kind of person that she was. She did this job that people hate because they have to pay taxes, they love because they get their voter registration, and they hate because they stand in line for license plates and titles. But she did it with compassion. And you can't do that job without being criticized. But you can do that job so you show people you're just doing that. You're doing your job and you're doing it well. And of all the places to be careful with tax dollars and to be efficient in the way you use tax dollars, the tax office would be the place to demonstrate that, and she did. They say that the mark of a great leader is that she will accept more than her fair share of the blame and accept less than her fair share of the credit. And Nelda was a great leader in that respect as well. She was honest. She was, as the example of a fine public servant. She earned respect throughout this county, easily reelected. And I remember her calling on me when there was a kind of an elitist, privileged group of people that took her on in the Democratic primary and tried to replace her. I was proud to serve as her campaign manager that time, and she taught them a lesson. That if you just do your job well and you care about people and you're honest, it pays off. And it paid off in the Democratic primary and it paid off in the general election. She had her own way of earning RESPECT. It's still here, and she's still, that you can hear that song when you see that sign. She was smart, independent-minded, and I can tell you from personal experience, she could, in the softest voice, put you in your place. And I love that about her. I know she's so proud of her family. We're all so proud of her. She was a great kind of hero, someone to look up to, someone to tell people about in the future. I feel very proud and lucky to have been just one of the very many friends of Nelda Wells Spears. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. That was beautiful. And I might add, in that election where someone ran against her in the primary, she won every single precinct in Travis County. So every time we have one of these events honoring Nelda, her sorority sisters, the Deltas, show up. And I think everybody enjoys the Deltas and their spirit and their love for Nelda and for all the things that they do in our community. Unfortunately, today is their annual meeting and election of officers. So we have a small delegation here, and Miss Polly Street, who's going to represent the Deltas, is going to say a few words.
Good morning. I'm so happy to be here to represent Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, Austin Alumni Chapter. I do have a letter from our president that I'd like to share with you. I would ask that members of Austin Alumni Chapter Delta Sigma Theta Sorority please stand at this time, or any other Deltas that are in the house. Dear family, friends, and community members, on behalf of Austin Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, we are honored to be here to celebrate the unveiling of the Nelda Wells Spears Building. As we are all aware, Ms. Spears was a beloved community leader and the first African-American in the state of Texas to hold the position of Travis County Tax Collector. Within our organization of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Soror Spears was a consistent leader in our political awareness and involvement, and social action initiatives. Year after year, she led the charge in ensuring that our chapter members were trained as deputy voter registrars. She was a huge force behind our Delta Red Army as we fanned our community to hold voter registration sessions within our high schools, within our colleges, and even in our local movie theaters. Sarah Spears was a strong advocate for not only voter registration, but also voter education. She consistently stood ready to volunteer for our elected official forums, voter rights, and voter education sessions. Our chapter is so proud and honored to know she is memorialized in Austin's history. Her legacy and her life and all of her grace will grace her legacy will live on and grace the Austin skylines for years to come. Sincerely, Lisa R. Newman, President, Austin Alumni Chapter, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority.
Thank you, Polly, and thank you all Deltas that could come this morning. I want to introduce one other group over here. Nelda has a group of female friends, and they have been friends since elementary school, and they're still friends. Would y'all stand, please? Thank y'all very much. And last but not least, our last speaker today is Trent Spears, Nelda's son, and his son, Malik Spears. Malik claims he is the favorite son. And before they talk, I want to just remind you, the media services is here. If you want to be interviewed and share your story of Nelda, please do, because the filming of this event today is going to go into the county archives, and it will be in the Austin History Center archives. So stay for an interview. Thank you. Okay, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, morning rather. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. I'm so proud of my mother's legacy right now. I'm looking at the faces of the crowd, and I didn't know if I could get up and do this until just this moment when I touched the podium. I see people from my childhood. I see my friends. I see my mom's friends. I see my family. I see my children. I see Travis County. And I see so many people that my mother touched their lives. I see so many people that have gotten encouragement from her. I see so many people that supported her, that loved her. And I haven't even been able to turn around and look at the sign yet, but I'm truly thankful to everyone that made this possible. And I would like to take this time to honor my sister Amy. It's her birthday today, and I think this is the best birthday gift I've ever given my sister. So I win again. But seriously, my mother went through a whole lot of stuff in her life, and I know she's the first black tax assessor-collector in the state of Texas, but I want everyone to know that she was so much more than that. Thank you so much. My son Malik would like to say a few words, and we have a presentation, an item to give to Bruce Elfont and the tax office.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. So we know why we're here, right? For Nelda Wells Spears. And I'm just honored and lucky in the lottery of life to be her grandson. And I'm looking at everybody today, and I've met most of you all before. And in my short life, it still takes a lot of, reintroductions, because it has been some time, right? But I'm just honored to be able to look out and see all the people who have been able to spend all the time that I didn't get to spend with her, to see all the decades and all the love that she's been able to share with everybody. And it's really palpable and powerful to be able to say that I'm one of the, people who get to thank her from a DNA perspective. Everybody gets to have her in their own memories, and I'm just here to say thank you so much. I'm thinking about the character that she had, that she was able to instill inside of me and my family, the leadership qualities, the educational capacity, and the customer service, being a people person. And I do take that for granted sometimes, just thinking how blessed I am to be able to look out and say, I want to help everybody, just as she did. And then to be able to hear all the stories and all the good anecdotes that people were able to tell about her just makes it that much more powerful to me. It makes it that much more obtainable for me to be a good person and just everybody to be a good person. And so today we have a picture to unveil of my grandmother. Tagola. And this is going to be hanging inside of the building here to go along with the name. And just real short, thank you.
Well, I didn't clear this with Cecilia, but I would like to ask all the tax assessors to come up and accept this photo with me, and all the tax office employees who work with Nelda to stand behind the tax assessors to accept this photo. So if y'all will all come up. Figure out how we do this.
Okay, yeah, right.
Yeah. I didn't clear it with Cecilia. That's an important moment.
You don't want to stand behind. We'll stand over here.
Okay. Just go ahead and start snapping some candid photos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And while we're all taking pictures, thank you to the Deltas, thank you to Greater Mount Zion, thank you to Travis County, thank you to Austin, Texas, thank you Cecilia, thank you Bruce, thank you Ms. Delco, thank you to everybody who I can't name, thank you to my aunt right there whose birthday it is, my siblings right there, thank you everybody. And thank you Nana.
Especially Nana. Okay, we good?
Thanks, sir. It's good to be seen.
Yeah.
When you get to be my age, it's good to be seen.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's good to see you.
So that ends our dedication ceremony today. What a fabulous day in Austin, Texas.
I met Nelda at Greater Mount Zion Tiny Tot Nursery when I was 4 years old. And we have never, ever separated friendship. Her children are my godchildren, and my children are her godchildren. We were neighbors, we were friends, we were widows together. We saw good and bad and happy and sad. It was a relationship I'll never, ever be able to match. I saw Nelda when she wasn't in the public eye. I saw Nelda when she was just Nelda. And we had so many wonderful stories together that I don't have time to share them all. Trust me that I can tell you the public view of Nelda was exactly the same behind closed doors. She was good, she was intelligent, she was compassionate, she was loving, but she did not take much stuff. And she was that kind of woman. I loved her like a sister. I loved her more than you can even imagine. And I'll miss her something terrible. But this legacy behind me is exactly what she deserved. The kind of person that Nelda has been, I can tell you, I knew Nelda, as I told you, since I was 4 years old. And at her funeral, I heard things that I never knew she had done, because she was humble and she did things and she never bragged about them. She did them because she loved to serve. I love her still, I always will. I am so very proud to have known her all these years.
I was a close friend of Nelda's from even before elementary school. We went to nursery school together all the way through high school. But we were close friends, and Nelda had many talents that people may not realize. I mean, she was a wonderful artist, and that's what I remember about her in our formative years. But she was such a generous person and a leader. We were in the band together, and she was the drum major, and I was a majorette. And so she showed her leadership skills even back then because she had to make sure that we were all in step, so to speak, in the band, whether we were marching downtown for the Aqua Festival or marching in the Friday nights under the Friday night lights for the band. But Nelda was truly a family person, and she was she guided so many people to emulate those same skills. And so I want to thank you all for making sure that people recognize and will know Nelda Wells for many years to come.
Right now I live in Houston, Texas, but I've known Nelda since we were all attending Tiny Tot School together at Greater Mount Zion. I've also known her as a mag until she passed away. We all of the mags have been together since a group of girls went to the movies to see the Magnificent Seven movie back in the day. And they came home and talked about the camaraderie that they had together. So we just got together and formed a club. And it was a fantastic group of women, and we've been together ever since. Nelda was a true friend to everybody, and we were thick and close until the end. I'm so proud of Nelda today. I came through the storm from Houston yesterday. He brought me through the storm, and I'm gonna try to get back. The weather's beautiful right now, but I had to come to this fantastic ceremony for my dear friend Nelda today.
I've been a friend of Nelda's for many years. Our children went to school together. We did PTA together. We did all kinds of things together. And I was also her neighbor. Lovely lady, the best lady ever. To Trent and Amy and all the grandkids, your grandmother was the bomb. She loved you guys, and she will always love you. And you guys always cherish her and tell the kids how wonderful she is as a lady. Thank you for this opportunity to let everyone say I love Nelda and her family, and may God bless all of you.
One of the most memorable experiences I've had with Nelda Wells Spears is my first time being a VDR. We had a group of friends come over. She came to our place in the Southeast Austin, the Dove Springs community, and she swore us all in as DVRs, and I was probably about 24 years old back then. Today, another thing I remember is a lot of the good she did, especially with up-and-comers like myself at the time. Just motivation, encouragement, and again, today is a great honor for Nelda Wells Spears. Thank you so much.
I just wanted to come by and just congratulate the family, on this great occasion. I've been with the county 42 years, so I've known Nelda for a long time. And I tell you, we worked with the constable's office. We worked with Nelda continuously, trying to to better the parking, for example, for the disabled parking enforcement. She would work in unison with the constable's office all the time. So we'd come over here in meetings and brainstorm and figure out how to reduce the number of citations and the violations in Travis County. And because she is in charge of issuing all the placards, you know, for the disabled community, she was an integral part of the solution, you know, to reducing disabled parking violations in Travis County. So I just want to thank her and for paving the way for people like myself. You know, there's not a whole lot of, and when I first started, there wasn't a whole lot of elected officials that looked like us, okay? And so, you know, she paved the road for a lot of the minorities, African-American and Hispanics both. So I do want to thank her, and that, you know, she has a huge legacy, but that's one of the things that I'll always remember about her and thank her for.
I've known Nelda a long, long time, and I was so glad today, especially as we all recall her service. I was so glad that I have great memories of working with Nelda, and she always was very compassionate, was very kind, and took her time to talk to employees and to people who came to pay their taxes. And it was always a joy to talk to her. The voter registration was a wonderful experience to have, and to work with her in terms of, you know, getting the word out to people in a very straight out message, simple message. You know, we need to hear from you, and we need to have your opinion, so we'll know how to serve you. So it was just all I can do is remember her kindness to people as she talked to them through the process, and to educate them about what the county did in terms of the tax office. And so it was always a joy to come up here, even if I didn't have to pay my taxes, and just to visit with her and to you know, have a drink of water on the way back to downtown. So and I miss her terribly. It's wonderful to see her family take over for her, and they'll live out her legacy, and they're wonderful children, and I think that had a lot to do with also the kind of mother that she was. She was a good public servant, but she was also a good mother, and I know she was a good grandmother. So God bless you, Nelda. We miss you, and but we'll think about you every day.
I met Nelda when we both worked for Bob Bullock, and she was the head of personnel, and I worked in field operations in the audit division. And you know, the past year, you know, we found out things about Nelda that we never knew because she didn't really toot her horn. And so I got her to interview a guy that worked at the comptroller's office for Bullock, Glenn Castleberry. And he said, you know, when Bullock took office, he was under a court order because the office was not an office of equality. So Mr. Bullock himself went out and he recruited Nelda and invited her to come to the comptroller's office. And Glenn said what was unique about Nelda, she wasn't just a personnel director or anything like that. She told him, if we want a workplace of equality, it's not about numbers. It's never about numbers. We need to go out and we need to personally recruit people that are qualified for the job. We need to bring them in, we need to train them, and then we need to give them a job that has career opportunities so that they can move up. And I'm telling you, I heard that and I was like, oh my God. You know, because Nelda and I were very close friends then. And of course, we met our husbands at the comptroller's office, so boys was really the only thing we ever talked about. But, you know, the programs that came out of her EEO program were just magnificent between her and Bullock. And I think there's many, many more stories out there, but suffice it to say, she's one of my best friends, and I miss her a lot.
I've been in office since 2013. I took office a year after Nelda retired from being tax assessor-collector. I started working formally with Nelda back in 2000. She asked myself and Judge Herb Evans to help train volunteer deputy registrars, and we did a lot of trainings over a number of years, over 12 years, until I became tax assessor and actually did the trainings myself. And that was such a rewarding thing. And Nelda asked us to come on so she could expand the reach of the office and reach more people and ultimately get more people registered and voting. And that's the legacy that we're carrying. Oh, I think that the people who work for Nelda are just overjoyed with the fact that this building is named in her honor. She was a wonderful person to work with and work for, and I've only heard wonderful things from our employees who worked with Nelda about her.
This is a very proud moment for my family and I, getting this building renamed in honor of my mother. She did a lot for Travis County. She did a lot for us as a family, and she'll be truly missed. And I can only hope to be so lucky in my next life. She was just a wonderful human being, and I love her very much. Thank you.
Nelda was my grandmother. We finally called her Nana, me and my brother and my siblings and all that. I'm just gonna say that some of my fondest memories are actually being inside of this building here. So the fact that it's now her building and it's in her name is something that is far beyond anything that I could ever have thought. Being a kid and running around the office and just, going to the bag, grabbing my little snacks, and then seeing everybody, Tina, Kat, Dusty, he's like my office uncle, and everybody else in the front, who were able to give me a nice little push, a nice buffer guard, for me to operate in. It was really such a wonderful thing. And just Nana, her inspiration, just the way that she has touched everybody is very powerful nowadays. And in my adult life, I can definitely, take that to my core, my integrity, and make me a better person. And so just hearing what everybody has to say. And so I'm so happy that this can be here for posterity, and anybody that has anything to say, whether it's good or bad, is going to be a good thing, because this woman was definitely a powerful woman, and it goes to show without even saying. So thank you so much.
Nina is the best, and I love her so much. She's the bestest, and she gives me the most hugs. And I love Malik and my family and Tiff and everybody. Nana, I love
To the taxpayers of Travis County who have paid their taxes, thank you. As government employees, we are all being called upon to be more productive, to provide higher levels of service, and to do so with dwindling economic resources. The result is that we're being more innovative in discovering ways to meet these challenges. We have low turnover at the tax office.
We can't thank you enough. There's nothing we could do or afford to do to thank you guys enough for all the work that you do in voter registration. Hello, I'm Nelda Wells Spears, your Tax Assessor-Collector. In Travis County, we have 5 office locations to serve you better. Today, I announce my retirement from the Tax Assessor-Collector's office, effective December 31st, 2011.
Well, I guess when you're retiring, you don't care about getting to different places on time. Number 1 is to approve proclamation recognizing the retirement of Nelda Wells Spears. Throughout her career as Tax Assessor-Collector, Nelda settled for nothing less than a quality work environment. Her top priorities were better customer service, optimal fiscal responsibility, and greater employee education and training.